If you've been working in the space of Adobe Experience Cloud, you will resonate when I say that Adobe Tags implementations get complicated over time. Rules compound, data elements get orphaned, custom code gets inherited with no documentation, and governance reviews get skipped because they take too long. The tech debt that gets accumulated is too high. Hi, my name is Ritesh Gupta, and I'm a technical architect at Adobe. I spent over a decade implementing Adobe Tags and consulting large-scale digital transformation projects for enterprise clients. A good amount of that time was spent just trying to understand Adobe Tags properties that I didn't build. Opening up rules one by one, tracing data element dependencies in spreadsheets, reading inherited custom code with no context. It was a difficult endeavor no matter how many times I initiated it. I realized I wasn't the only one who felt this way. TagScanner came out of those conversations, built with a team of people who experienced the same frustration. TagScanner is a simple application that sits in your Chrome browser and scans the satellite container object, the compiled object that Adobe Tags creates in every page that it runs on. By scanning the object and attaching other processes, TagScanner is able to scan in detail the property and extract maximum information that can help you analyze or optimize your Adobe Tags property. Since the satellite object is always there on any property, you don't need any API, credentials, or access requests to run TagScanner. In the next 10 minutes, I'll show you what you can do with TagScanner, including a full property audit, which manually can take hours but is now condensed into just few minutes. TagScanner installation is simple and straightforward. Just head to the Chrome Web Store, search for TagScanner and hit Add to Chrome. Once it is installed, you will see the TagScanner icon in your extensions bar. Just pin it and you're all set. Let me now navigate to a live site that has an Adobe Tags property running and give you a walkthrough of TagScanner and its features. With the extension open, TagScanner automatically detects whether Adobe Tags is present on the page or not. If it finds a tags library, it reads a compiled container directly inside the browser. You will see it pulls in the property details immediately: the property name, environment, and a summary count of rules, data elements, and extensions. If tags isn't detected, the extension will tell you that as well. TagScanner will only support standard Adobe Tags implementation. If you have pixel-based implementation, for example via Shopify, then TagScanner will not return any results. Now, let's start exploring what's inside. The Rules Explorer. The Rules Explorer gives you a complete view of every rule in the property: sortable, searchable, and paginated. Click into any rule and you will see the breakdown you would normally have to dig through the Tags UI to find: the events that trigger the rules, any conditions that gate it, the actions that it executes, and any custom code blocks attached to the rule. Here's what this looks like without the tool. On a 75 rule property, going through each rule in the launch UI, which means opening it, reading the config, noting it down, navigating back, runs about 90 minutes or more of methodical work. TagScanner collapses that to around a minute. Same information, one view. No navigation tags. The Data Elements Explorer. The Data Elements Explorer goes beyond just listing your data elements. It shows full usage tracking, which rules reference each data element, which extensions rely on them, and which data elements reference other data elements. That last one matters more than people realize. Complex properties often have data element chains where one data element depends on another, and breakage at any point silently fades downstream. TagScanner surfaces those dependencies explicitly. There's also a deep scan feature embedded in the Data Elements Explorer. The deep scan feature analyzes custom code blocks to detect references to data elements that aren't in the compiled library, and surfaces that code directly in the user interface. The manual equivalent of all this? Opening up data elements one by one, cross-referencing which rules use each in a separate spreadsheet. I can estimate it around 4 hours or more, and that's being generous. TagScanner gets you there in another minute, and it catches things a manual pass would miss entirely. The Extension Explorer. The Extension Explorer gives you a clean inventory of every extension installed in your property. For each extension, you get a breakdown of how many events, conditions, actions, and data elements it contributes. Manually, building this picture means cross-referencing your entire rule and data element list, which can be estimated to around 30 minutes or more on a 4-extension property. TagScanner renders it in less than a minute, and 0 contribution extensions are immediately visible. Useful for identifying technical debt before a migration. The flow diagram. The flow diagram is one of my favorite to demo and a feature that I'm particularly proud to have designed and implemented. The flow diagram renders an interactive visual map of your entire property, data elements, rules, extensions, and the connections between them. You can click any node to inspect it. It is immediately obvious which data elements are central hubs versus isolated one sitting in a corner. The flow diagram generates this view in seconds, and it always reflects the current published library. Global Code Search. Global Code Search is a full-text search across every rule, data element, and extension, including all custom code blocks with line-level match highlighting. Without it, finding a variable like digitaldata.page.pageinfo.pagename across 75 rules means opening every rule that might have the custom code and searching inside the text area. You can search within each component, but you can't search across components. With TagScanner, you type the query once and results are back in seconds across the entire property. Every block of code, every time. AI-powered scan. If I list down the reasons why you should have TagScanner in your arsenal, then the property health scan powered by AWS Bedrock's Claude 3.5 Haiku is the single biggest reason that stands out. The scan feature analyzes your entire property and returns a structured health report, graded with an executive summary, category scores, critical issues, and ranked recommendations. A thorough manual edit of a medium property, which means reviewing every rule for naming conventions, checking data element quality, identifying unused extensions, flagging empty conditions, reviewing custom code for risk, and then writing a finding. Well, that's a job that can easily consume days for a consultant who knows what they are looking for. And that's before you factor in the documentation time. TagScanner does this in less than a minute. Not because it cuts corner. It analyzes the same things a consultant will. It just doesn't have to navigate the UI or open the rule by hand. Explain. Almost every Adobe Tags implementation has custom code embedded in it. And most of the time, that code wasn't written by the person investigating it. The lack of standardized documentation makes it more complicated to analyze and optimize. But with TagScanner, understanding custom code is just a click away. Once you open a data element that has custom code block embedded in it, you just need to click Explain. You get a plain English breakdown of the custom code. What the code does, what data it reads, and what it returns or fires, risk and anti-pattern. Interpreting inherited custom code with no documentation, which means reading it, inferring the intent, identifying risk, and writing what it does for handoff, runs about 15 to 20 minutes per block. On a property with 5 or 6 non-trivial custom code blocks, that's the better part of an hour just in reading the code. TagScanner brings it down to seconds with structured output that you can directly paste in your audit documentation. Ask AI. Ask AI lets you ask natural language questions about your live property. Watch this. Which rules fire on page load? And you get an answer instantly from the actual events in a container. I can follow up. What data elements do those rules use? And the answer continues with the context from the previous interaction. One thing to be upfront about the AI features. All AI-led features, which is health scan, code explanation, and Ask AI, are available in limited capacity right now. I am running these features on my personal API keys, and access can be restricted at any point. The core features, which are Rules Explorer, Data Elements, flow diagram, and everything that is non-AI, well, those are fully available with no restrictions. Environment override. The environment override feature, inspired by Adobe Express Platform Debugger, redirects the tags library on a live page from production to dev or staging without touching the page, without query parameters, and without a proxy tool. This feature can help you validate your property in test environments without having to configure Charles or Requestly. Without TagScanner, this is a 15 to 20 minute setup every time. TagScanner makes it a 10-second drop-down switch in browser on the actual production URL, persistent per tab, and reversible in one click. Export. The full export feature packages everything into a single Excel file: rules, data elements, extensions, and all the custom code, which is ready for a client handoff or implementation documentation. Adobe Tags has no official feature that can export custom code. Doing this manually means copying block by block, formatting a spreadsheet for readability, and spending 60 to 90 minutes on something that should be done in a button click. In TagScanner, you just need to do one click and you are done. Google OAuth. For using AI features, you will need to first create an account. I've added a Google OAuth feature that makes it easy for you to sign up using your Google account. Activity history. The activity history feature gives you a preview of every activity on your current property to filter out any query that you have made in the past. Before I wrap up, there's something that I'm working on and that is not available in the extension yet. This feature is called Monitor. The idea is a continuous automated monitoring agent that looks after your Adobe Tags property, and always on watching utility that detects breaking changes as they happen. A rule stops firing, a data element loses its source, an extension update changes a behavior, Monitor will surface it to you immediately. I'm not going to promise a release date because I genuinely don't have one. This feature may ship, or it may evolve into something different, or it may not ship at all in its current form. But if this is something that you'd find useful, please do let me know in the comments. That kind of signal directly shapes what I prioritize. To put a number on everything we just walked through, for a medium property with around 75 rules, 150 data elements, and 4 extensions, a full manual audit can run roughly around 15 to 16 hours. TagScanner gets you through every module in minutes. What takes the time after that is yours. Reading the output, interpreting the finding, and deciding what to fix. That's analysis work, and you are an expert at it. Running TagScanner just means that you are starting with the analysis already surfaced, not spending half a day digging for it. If you find TagScanner useful, please do give a review on the web store. It goes a long way in expanding the reach of this tool. And if there's something that you would want to see built, including Monitor, please do drop that as well in the comment. One last thing, TagScanner isn't a one-person project. It has been built with a team of people who've contributed their time, expertise, and honest feedback at every stage. I am genuinely grateful to each and every one of them. Thanks for watching this demo video. I hope you enjoyed TagScanner. For any feedback or suggestions, please reach out to tagscannerfeedback@gmail.com.